because I recognize that shirt. You wore that shirt in your recent parole picture.
Yeah. Actually, I wore this shirt. So they took that picture when I went to see my PO one day, amongst other pictures.
Did
And
you wear
then
it on
out of all
purpose?
the,
Did you wear it on purpose, or did you didn't know you were getting your picture taken that day?
No, yeah, everything I do is for a reason. There's definitely a reason. I'm making some more of that proof in the pudding, you know,
Oh
for
yeah,
the
you got
recipe.
the recipe.
Yeah, I gotta make that recipe.
So overall, how have you been though recently?
Oh God, it has been like a struggle for real. You know, getting in my head about things like things that aren't pertaining to, you know, nobody out there. Um, Basically personal issues with myself. You know, when you say something to somebody and you know those words hurt, and then you know, and you don't know this in the moment because hindsight's 2020, right? So you know those words hurt, and you look back on it and you're like, oh my God, you know, I said that and it had to affect them like this. And they probably woke up every day, you know, thinking that there was something wrong with them or that they weren't good enough, or, you know, because I mean, look, I've had my grandpa, he made me feel like I didn't know how to stack one box on top of another. And I knew I did. I knew I wasn't dumb. I'm some dumb. I ain't plumb dumb. So it's just things that people say, and it's like they cause you to change your life off of a few words, you know, and it hurts. So I was living with that, like dealing with, you know, kind of like just the regret of saying things and hurting people, making people cry. And I ain't talk about just Taylor. I got family members, my dad, you know, my mom. So there's a lot more to the story. Obviously, you know, like I have a whole life, you know.
I want to
So
get
like,
more into that later too and ask about your
sure.
parents and stuff like that. Okay, so you just got out of like a treatment center or like a rehab. Where exactly have you been like before you just got out recently?
So that the rehabilitation is down in St. Louis, and I checked myself in. Of course, in order to get in there quickly, I had my parole officer help me. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, like Amber, anybody out there in the audience watching, it's not easy to get your PO to help you get help. Like your PO, usually in another state, would most likely send you to jail, and the judge will even tell you get all the help you can get. You know, and it's just bullshit because you learn. I call it, and what I've known to call it, is addictive criminal thinking behaviors that they follow you. Like when you get out of prison and jail, that shit follows you to the street. And when you think you know what you're doing and you're stopping at a stop sign, in the back of your mind somewhere, you're stopping at a sidewalk and you're walking, you're not driving, and you're in prison, you're not on the street. And when somebody crosses you or butts you in line or cuts you off on the highway, thinking behaviors, these patterns that are criminal based.
Yeah.
So it's hard, man. But yeah.
Were you going there for like a drug problem or an alcohol problem?
Okay, so I've had a drug problem a long, long time ago. And drugs were definitely a thing that were out of the question for me. Alcohol was never my thing. My dad was an alcoholic. You know, I don't want to get into too much of his business and all that, but I believe he still is. And they, you know, I've been to AA meetings. They say if you have a drink, you're an alcoholic. Just one. So, you know, and then there's a such thing called as a dry drunk. It's where every day you don't drink, and then you're telling yourself, if they do this, today's going to be the day. Or if I lose my job, or if my car don't start one more time, or if I burn the eggs, today's going to be the day I'm going to get plastered. And then you just live that way every day until one day you get plastered. But no, I went to rehabilitation for alcohol abuse. And I just started out with a couple shots. You know, alcohol helps carpal tunnel. You know, plus then I used that as an excuse. I never really had any triggers. I just learned that I have really good excuses.
You have carpal tunnel. Like, you think that's from doing construction for so many years?
It's probably from all the yoga.
Okay.
Just kidding. No, yeah, it's so like tattooing, drawing, like where you're holding on to a pencil. Like I don't just hold on, I squeeze it sometimes and I have to stop because my fingers will go numb. But yeah, carpal tunnel is definitely from doing construction.
Were you tattooing a lot in prison? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I tattooed some in prison. I did a lot of myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of tattoos. So, okay, how long have you been sober for then?
So I got out, what have I been out, like a week?
February 1st.
If I got out February 1st.
You went in February 1st.
Well, damn, so you just got me all on the phone. Can I have that thing?
It's February 1st.
Yeah, I've been sober since February 1st.
So,
but I don't count the time that I was in, really. That's like saying I haven't gotten in trouble since, 2012. I haven't been found guilty on any of these pending charges. But technically, I've been out of rehab for like a week.
And you haven't drank or anything at all since you went there? Well, congratulations. Why can I say that? Good for you. I keep saying congratulations. I keep messing up.
It's
a big deal, though.
It's no small thing, though. People do it every day. And that's the thing. Like, people don't realize when you can be in a maximum security prison, people are getting stabbed. Even at the minimum security prison I went to in Bowling Green, like, people were getting stabbed there. It's like you're going home in 2 months, you just stabbed a guy. But you go to the hole for 30 days, get out. It's like a fight, and you can go through that everyday thing. Like, I could get stabbed going to breakfast today. Maybe somebody doesn't want to pay me the money they owe me, or maybe somebody feels like I owe them money, and then you get out here and you struggle a little bit with work or financial issues or relationship problems. And this shit's hitting the fan because you don't know how to deal with that. And that's my situation. Like, I didn't know how to deal with it. And people do it every day, though. So kudos to y'all, man.
You quit smoking too? You quit smoking cigarettes?
Yeah, so I quit smoking. My first day in rehab, I got caught smoking a cigarette in the bathroom. My first day. And I was like,
you're not allowed to smoke there?
No, you're not. They don't even sell coffee. Yeah, they don't even sell coffee. And so I was a vending machine junkie. Like, I would spend therapy.
Yeah.
Dealing with my issues, finding out like the real victims of my life and how they viewed me. I would call and I would talk to people from my past, and I'd just be going through it with them. And I'd start crying, and they'd be like, "Well, why are you crying?" I'm like, "It's these cheeseburgers and these vending machines, man. They've been making me emotional."
Did you have to work like the 12 steps, or was it just like alcohol like classes?
Well, the 12 steps is basically an Alcoholics Anonymous, but it can be used for anything in your life. I mean, if you have a problem riding under the lights at night because you're bored, that's an addictive behavior, and it could become a criminal addictive behavior, depending on if you have to break any laws to do it.
So, are you still currently staying with Taylor?
No. Let's see. Before I went to rehab, Taylor let me stay a couple nights. Okay. And surprisingly, but I had to talk it out. Like, I knew I needed help. So because obviously my truck is totaled, and that's a whole nother story. Like, unfortunately the truck driver, he said that I didn't stop at the stop sign. He said that I went into his lane and let him run into me. Well, I have OnStar. And I have Progressive Snapshot safe driving app. So every movement that I make in my truck is recorded. And like, if I'm swerving because I'm trying to get a lighter off the floorboard, or because I'm trying to get one of the dogs in the back seat, OnStar or Progressive or both will call me, and they'll say, "Are you okay, Mr. Pitt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Well, we've detected some, you're swerving a little bit." And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't even cross the line." And like, "Yeah, well, it's our job to call you before you do." So both of those agencies, indicate that I stopped at the stop sign. I didn't hard brake, nor did I hard accelerate. I was in my lane for 34 seconds before the truck hit me on the side. And if anybody actually looked at pictures from the car accident, come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
You're saying you guys were both driving down the highway side by side and he swerved over and hit you?
So the highway where I got on at, there's a slight curve. Not very sharp. It's like a very slight curve. Not even a dog leg. So a dog leg's like where it goes and curves. So this is a very slight curve. And I stopped at the stop sign. He was probably like 200 yards away. And I pulled out into the far right slow lane because I could see where he was in the left lane. But he was far away. So I pulled out and I was driving. And the next thing you know, pow, into the side of my truck. And it hit me almost right in the side, like in the middle of my truck. So what it did was the pressure pushed down and popped both of the front and the rear driver's side wheels off my truck, just popped them right off. Hubs and everything. You know, all the airbags came out. My dogs jumped out and I took off after them, trying to get them. But I didn't really notice where the truck went because I seen a truck up ahead pulled over. He must have seen the accident. I don't know how long I was in the truck before I got out, but I knew I had to get my dogs together because I had Bear and Liza, the two big ones, the white and black one, with me. They weren't injured at all, thankfully, and neither was I. So thankfully, nobody was injured or killed. You know, and I don't want to try to like make anybody look bad, but anybody who is trained driving a hazardous vehicle, their training is very simple. You drive in your lane. If somebody pulls in front of you or if you hit somebody, you gradually hit your brakes and stop. You don't hit somebody and on an instinct, when you hit somebody like that, what's your reaction? To jerk the wheel back and get off of them, right? So that's what he did. And when he overcorrected, he went across the highway and flipped. I didn't see that part. You know, the whole thing is unfortunate. It should have never happened.
Are you going to be able to get that data from OnStar to use in your case?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I've already talked to OnStar and Progressive.
Okay.
So if you don't have Progressive, I highly recommend you get them because my insurance was like $350 a month for two vehicles. And when I got Progressive, Taylor has it as well. When you get the Safe Driving app and the snapshot, basically you can't speed, but your insurance will lower like $125, $150 a month.
Yeah, I think I got something like that, but with State Farm. They got
so you can get on the app. I can get on the app right now and literally go to the day, and it'll show where I did not hard brake. It literally, you can see everything, and then you can say if you were a driver or not a driver. Because, you know, in them days when you are running behind, I can click on the app and say, I'm not a driver today. I'm a passenger, and then just go. But then OnStar's, you know, tracking me too, so.
So you have an upcoming court date. Are you going to plead guilty or not guilty for that then?
Well, I'm definitely going to plead not guilty. But the court date that I have coming up is a preliminary hearing, so there's not really a plea.
Yeah.
This is where the state
presents evidence and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not living with Taylor right now?
No, I'm not.
And you haven't lived there since you went to rehab?
Since I got out of rehab?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Okay.
I mean, I come over every day and see my kids.
And so you're welcome over there pretty much whenever to come see Mason?
Yep, that's right. I'm sober, and she's very happy that I don't smoke. Well, I have a vape, but this one here, like you can adjust the nicotine outflow in it, so I've got it really, really low. Basically, I like the flavor.
What flavor is that?
This is banana and strawberry slushy. So it's just light. It's a slight menthol and then banana.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You used to smoke Newports, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh god, I smoked them for a long, long time.
Yeah, those are really hard on your lungs. So so you and Taylor have a good co-parenting relationship for the most part?
Absolutely. Yep.
Have you met Taylor's new man?
I don't know if she wants to say she has a man or not, so I'm not gonna.
She posted pictures with him.
Oh, she did. I'm hardly ever on social media anymore. I mean, I'll post something, but I don't even get on Facebook or Instagram to post anything. I have like a AI. What's it called? This thing's cool. Like I can say I want to write a song about drugs and alcohol, and it will literally take a few words of my own and then write a song with it. Yeah, it's tough. I can't remember. I'll send you a screenshot of it. It's tough, but yeah, it posts things for me, and then I'll just put a date when I want to post it, and then I'll post them. Unless I take some cool pictures with Mason, then I'm posting them immediately.
How long are you on probation? You're on parole, right? Or is it
right,
probation?
Yep.
How much
Yeah,
longer
so I'm
do
on
you have
parole. I'm on parole until they have it written down until 2035, but I only had a 22-year sentence, and I did almost 10. So I did a little bit over 9 years. That leaves 12, and then I was out for 3, so that would leave 8, roughly 8, because the jail times add up and they count.
Yeah.
So I think it's off a few years, but basically I've got like 7 years left, I think.
How often do you have to go see your parole officer?
I go every 2 weeks.
And you got to go drop every 2 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I also do, there's a thing called Preferred Family.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm in another program called Gateway. And then I do Fathers First. So it's family and fathers support. So in each one of those, drug test you.
If you're not staying with Taylor, where are you staying? Do you guys got your own spot, or are you guys staying with a friend?
So right now I'm going from Airbnb to Airbnb.
Oh, that's expensive.
Well, it can be, but one of my business partners owns 4 different Airbnbs. And yeah, I get a discount. Yeah, like I would say a 5-finger discount, but if you take 5 fingers, wrap them around a hammer, a drill, or a saw, and do work with them. So basically, I'm trading work.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. He's got some really nice places.
What have you guys been working on lately? I've been seeing those pictures you posted, you and Alyssa working on a house. Is that what you guys have been working on? Because some people thought you guys were working on Taylor's house.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like Taylor's house. I think she has like older walls, and there's like a trim going down the middle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you're still on house arrest?
House arrest? No.
You're not? You don't have to wear an ankle monitor?
See?
That's good.
No monitor.
When did you get off that?
I was only on it for about a week.
Oh. Yeah,
I was only on that for about a week. Basically, they put me on that when I bonded out because for some reason they thought I was going to run. And I'm like, why would I run? Do you realize? Let me explain something. Okay. Because I know a lot of people in different states. If this was Florida, I mean, you could get 20 years for possession of cocaine and do 85% of it. But you could also get 5 years for jaywalking and do 85% of it. This is Missouri. And in the state of Missouri, they have a percentage system. Your first time down, you do 15%. Your second time down, you do 20%. Your third time down, you do 33%. If it's a Class A felony, you do 60%. It's not even 85. So for a Class D felony, the max punishment is 7 years. Mm-hmm. So let's just say, just for shits and giggles, I got 7 years for a Class D felony, which I would make them take me to trial on, which would probably cost about $50,000. And I don't see them stacking the court files and all that to and getting all backed up for a Class D felony. But if they did, it would be exhilarating and scary, just because I don't care if I got to stand next to somebody that's going to court. I'm scared. You know, I have PTSD from all that. But just for shits and giggles, I get the max, 7 years. Fraudulent use of a credit card, the max is a year. So that's 8 if they did consecutive sentences. So if it's concurrent, I would do 7 if they gave me the max on the 7 and the 1. Okay, but even if they gave me 8, let's just do that. Devil's advocate. They gave me 8 years, 7 years plus 1 year consecutive, right? That's 8 years. What is 15% of 8 years? So 15% of 1 would be, so yeah, you'd really have to do the math. It's a few weeks, about 6 months. Just guesstimating. Okay, and then I would have what they call dual status. So I would be on probation. I would be on probation or parole for both charges, and they would be concurrent because they can't sentence me for something and mandate it that it be running consecutively with my parole. So no matter what, I'm on parole for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And if I got an 8-year sentence and did 6 months and had to do the rest on parole, well, that's going to go together. And I'm going to do 7 years no matter what on parole. Unfortunately, my truck is gone, okay, at a fault not of my own. Unfortunately, I would have to leave and not be a financial staple in the girls' lives, and Mason's life, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd go do my 6 months, probably come out backslid because of all this growth. I've been growing. It's a big thing when you realize half of the responses I have are called addictive criminal behavior. Mm-hmm. Then you have addictive criminal thinking. You have criminal responses and reflexes. So when you do almost 10 years in a maximum security prison, a lot of things happen in here. And nothing happened back here.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying. Just saying. Because if it did, you know what? There's millions and millions of people that are homosexual or bisexual. I would just say I'm one of them. Who really gives a shit?
There was some guy on Reddit or something that tried to act like he was your old bunkie or something, and you guys used to hook up.
Taylor showed me that, and first of all, not true. Where's the evidence and proof of that?
So was the first time that you ever did anything with a guy like what you talked about in the show, or have you done something before then?
Amber, that's like saying, how do I say something without being rude? If you walked into a room,
I got thick skin.
If you walked into a room, how many penises would you choke on?
What's that supposed to mean, though? What are you trying to say?
It's a catch 20-20. It doesn't matter how I answer that. You're trying to trap me. I will say this. I have never in my life had sexual activity with a guy.
Okay.
Now, does sending naked videos count?
Well, it depends what you're doing.
I'm doing it by myself. Well, or with a female.
I don't know.
I mean, if it's a person paying money, I don't know who's on the other end of that. It could be.
If it's like you're doing it for them, I thought you meant like you had another guy, but you're doing something like next to him. I was like, that might.
This heart is a piece of stone until a female touches it, and it just melts. So, no feelings.
Okay, well, how is your relation? You and Alyssa are still together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How are things with you guys?
Honestly, it's great. I couldn't have gone to rehab without Alyssa and Taylor. I couldn't have gone to rehab without even just Alyssa. It takes a lot of mental support because I'm already thinking it's a setup for failure. If I go into one of these places that my PO helps me get into, because you realize I could have went and checked in anywhere. 28 days, 21 days, 30 days. And did what? I could have left early. I could have not followed the rules. I could have skated through it. No, if I went to something, which I did, that my PO helped me get through, if I would have failed that, I could have went back to prison. And I ain't talking about for some 6 months. I'm talking about on my 7-year parole bid. And then I would have had to wait to see the parole board again in 6 months. And then they could have said, oh, yeah, we'll let you out in a year. You never know at that point. But yeah, I'm just going to say this. Alyssa and Taylor have become best friends in my eyes. I don't know if they've admitted it, if they're saying it, but I'm going to say what I've seen. They've become best friends. The girls love Alyssa. I mean, she's like a sister, a best friend, and a mom with them. Mason absolutely chases her around. When I come over, I'd get jealous. I'm like, hey, boy. He looks at me like, her hugs are softer than yours. And I'm like, yeah, well, who does the helicopter better? And I'll pick him up. But that little guy, it takes a lot to go through a program like that. It's very extensive, very intensive. And you get to the root of the problem, and that's what I did in there.
Does Alyssa still watch Mason? Is she still his babysitter?
Yes.
And you plan on proposing or marrying Alyssa at some point?
Well, I can say her report card has a lot of A's on it.
Okay.
And if anything, I'd be worried about her telling me no. I've been the big goofball here lately, so I have a lot to prove, and I know that. But I don't have anybody to prove it to really but myself. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody that has been a part of my life, I owe them. I owe it to them to show them. Like, I can be clean and you just not see me and nobody even knows, or I could be clean and show it to you and express how I'm doing now. And that's what I want. I want to show it to them.
Do you want to have more kids?
Yeah.
You want to have more kids with Alyssa? Like, are you guys doing anything to prevent having kids?
Well, right now we're not trying to have kids. I would really like to get my business back off the ground. I got to get my ass back off the ground. So I have a car, and it's a 2007 Monte Carlo SS, but it needs an ignition switch. So it was running good before I went to rehab, and then just before I went to rehab, like the day before, I had a flat and the ignition switch went out at the same time. So I had it towed up to a car lot to where they're working on it. I got out of the rehab thinking the car would be fixed. So I was going to use my tax money to get it out, and pay, to pay for it. And I get up there, they didn't change the tire. They didn't even fix the ignition switch because he said when they opened the wiring harness, there was too many splices, and they didn't know where everything went to. I was like, dude, are you serious? You just pull the ignition switch out, put it on the room. If that don't work, then I'll pay you for that, So now I'm waiting on that again.
How many more kids do you want to have?
Depends on how much money I can make. I'm thinking of course, I always have high expectations. I expect the most out of myself. I know my capabilities. I know what I want to do. I have some great ideas that I haven't gotten patented yet that are going to skyrocket and take off. There's at least 3 out of my 10 that are not out. They're definitely not out there. None of them are. And they're definitely going to, these 3 are going to be top-nocch takeoff. There's one that's going to be very affordable to get started. So I'm waiting on that. Now, having said that, if I become a millionaire, hypothetically speaking, if I become a millionaire, I wouldn't mind having 10 kids.
Like a whole basketball team?
Well, why not?
How many kids do you have so far? You have Mason, and how many other kids do you have?
So biologically, I have Mason, Ethan, and Emma. And then I have Sophia, Jacqueline, and Athena.
So you still try to be an active father to them?
Oh, absolutely. Just because Taylor and I didn't work out doesn't mean I'm not going to keep the promises I made to those girls. And if they ever chose that they didn't want me around, then I'm just going to be that guy that's waiting for a phone call. And if there's a problem, I'll come help them. But if not, I'll let them have their life. I'm not gonna jockey in and say I'm gonna be super dad, but I definitely don't mind being there for them.
Okay, so what's up with videos that you posted on Twitter and Instagram?